This is Josh.
Josh, this is Gary Vaynerchuk. You're on the Ask Gary V show with Clay Shannon.
I can't even believe it right now.
No, it's real.
What's up, Gary?
No, I get it. When you get a chance to talk to Captain Clay, it is a moment that you'll never forget.
All right.
All right, Josh, tell me about you. What do you do in the wine business?
So for the past 3 years, I've been working at a Connecticut vineyard. It's a farm winery bistro.
Interesting.
And I've dipped into all parts of production and mainly focused on sales in our tasting room.
That's awesome, bro. And you enjoying it?
So I've recently just changed jobs. And I'm going into wine sales.
Okay. So you're still in the wine business.
Yeah.
And
still in the wine business.
So you're working for a distributor selling wines? Is that what you're doing?
So I've interviewed, and I'm going on to meet with them about going out on sales calls and also using some of my video and audio production skills with my background in that.
Smart. So what's your question, brother?
So how do I go about adding value to a small medium wine importer? Do I start it just like Gary V? I mean, just start with the Wine Library TV.
Look, Clay, let me ask you a question. Josh, I appreciate the question. I'll give my answer in a minute, but I want to inject Clay here. Clay, I assume that Shannon Ridge is sold by some big distributors in certain markets.
Some cases.
And some cases smaller.
Yes.
As you're a veteran of the industry now. No more red hair.
I made
right?
it. I made it.
You made it. When you've seen small importers or small distributors succeed, has there been a common theme? What have you seen that's stood out from some of the, obviously Josh is making a transition. It's a mid-sized, smaller distributor. He's trying to bring value. Obviously, he has these video skills, Babin, D-Rock, that kind of skill. But these are new things. I can speak to that. But for you, historically, over the last 2 centuries.
What do they do and do well? The small guys? Smaller distributors?
Yeah.
I think they're more personal. They handle smaller brands and they tell a story. They not only deliver, but they tell the story. They have a connection with their supplier, me, other wine folks, and they deliver that story. Some of these larger brands don't have a real story. We have a real story that's real. We live and farm and delivering that to the consumer, which is usually the wine buyer at a restaurant or a store, not the ultimate consumer. That's the way they do best. We do most of our business. We do the best with smaller distributors
because they tell the story.
They tell a story. They care.
Yeah.
Everybody's busy.
You're not lost in their book.
Oh yeah, it's getting worse as
consolidation.
Consolidation's getting worse. Growth is declining a little bit for certain reasons. Which
Why?
I'll tell you about.
Growth overall. Well, people drinking more water.
Retail business is declining a little bit, and I think soon it will be. I mean, it's growing less.
Yes.
And you know what? Graph it out.
Yeah,
Guess what's next?
Yeah, of course.
Because I think a lot of the retailers are forcing higher prices.
Yeah, falling behind not innovating.
And people are leaving, going direct to consumer because they don't want to buy super expensive wine.
I get
Sorry.
it. Josh, I think, this is why I'm glad I asked Clay the question. Because he couldn't have set me up better as he's pouring his Buckshack 2015 red. I want to know what's in it in a minute, Clay.
You smell this?
I smelled it.
It's great.
By the way, the bourbon-based wines you're making, like for all the fans that are watching right now, for me, like, guys, what is it, ShannonRidge.com?
ShannonRidge.com.
I'm glad you have that. ShannonRidge.com, go check it out. He's making wine in bourbon barrels, and for all of, I know my audience well, like, that's the wine you need to go find.
Wait till you see what comes out at the end of this year.
Here. I did a nice thing for you.
I just said wait to see what comes out.
Josh, listen, here's what we need to do. Clay said it perfectly.
I'm going to charge you for this.
That's fine. Clay said it perfectly. Clay said, tell the story. Yeah. What he was referring to is right, which is the smaller distributors often hire nerdier, more educated salespeople. for everybody who's watching, when he talks about they don't have a story, some of these big brands that all of you know and buy at supermarkets, they're just buying up a ton of grapes and they're using marketing money and a fancy label, and that's their business. There is no heartbeat to the wine, right? There's no third generation.
Oh, yeah.
There's no grandpa died on this vineyard, or the dog eats these grapes. All this, there's 13 rams, or
consumers want to be closer
Yeah.
to that
That's
grower
exactly what
these
it is.
days.
So
They
Josh,
want to know.
You know what to do.
Yeah.
My recommendation
Yeah.
is actually, it's a little less fancy. I would FaceTime and Skype every founder or winemaker of every winery you guys represent and record it. You don't need to do the Babin incredible edited emotional story thing. You can absolutely do a very simplistic Skype where you interview over a course of 7 or 8 questions the winemaker of your Languedoc Rosé that you're bringing in, and then post that video to Greenwich fucking Connecticut, and then remarkably, people want it.
Yeah, that's that's exactly what I needed to hear. I wrote down the storytelling thing before you gave me a call.
Well,
And
listen,
that's
you
my
must
passion.
have, obviously, Captain Clay used his incredible skills to know what you were thinking. He delivered on it, and Josh, Clay, and Gary.
Amazing.
Let's move on. Thanks. See you, brother.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.